Thank you for joining me for yet another unboxing video, and today we have more RPG goodness. This time it's Star Trek Adventures Volume 1 RPG, the role-playing game starter set, first edition, and the Game Master screen for Star Trek Adventures. I picked these both up used when I was in Oregon at Powell's Bookstore, which is one of the largest bookstores I've ever been to in my life. I went in the store and I asked them, do you have an RPG section? They said, yeah, we have a small one. I went upstairs. It was by far the largest I've ever seen in my life. They had basically everything in terms of used and new. So I saw these at a discounted price because they were both used. Because as you guys know, a second edition already came out. So I needed one for the first edition. So I picked it up, this one for 20 bucks and that one for 20 bucks as well. So I was very happy to pick it up. If you are in Portland, Oregon, highly recommended that you go to Powell's Bookstore. It is ginormous, and pretty much anything you're probably looking for, you will find there. New, used, and even first editions, all kinds of great stuff, including lots of role-playing games. Anyway, let's get into this. So we got the Star Trek Adventures Volume 1 role-playing game starter kit and the Game Master's screen as well. So let's crack these open and see what kind of goodness we have inside the box and this board here. So as always, I always tend to open things up off screen. So hopefully I can, nope, gonna have to use a blade for this one. Gonna do that off screen for us. So this way we have it done already. So let's crack this bad boy open and see what kind of goodness we have inside the box. I must tell you though, that Powell's Bookstore is phenomenal. Highly recommended that if you are in Portland, Oregon, do yourself a favor and go to that. So let's crack this bad boy open up. First, before we do that, let's take a look at the back. It says, Starfleet needs a new crew. Your continuing mission to explore strange new worlds, seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. Star Trek Adventures takes you to the final frontier of the galaxy, where new discoveries await keen explorers. Your duties may take you to the edges of known space, to Federation colonies in need, to the borders of neighboring galactic powers, or into the eye of interstellar phenomena. Your ship and your crew epitomize the best Starfleet and the United Federation of Planets has to offer, and you are needed more than ever. This starter set includes everything you need to begin your journey to the final frontier: starter rules, campaign booklets, character sheets, and everything else you'll need. Again, this was from Powell's book. I picked up used, like I said, for 21 bucks. All right, this is a 2D20 system, which is a little bit different than what you do for something like Dungeons and Dragons or any other role-playing game that's 5e. All right, so let's take a look at this. So right off the bat, we see that we have some different kind of dice. We're going to put those aside for the time being, and we're going to take a look over here. We're going to take a look at the starter rules, which we have right here. So again, you have the credits, rules of play. Welcome to your first assignment. What you need to play: you need a 20-sided dice, challenge dice, tokens, paper, pen, pencils, and character sheets. What's a role-playing game? Gives you background information on that. Starfleet needs a new crew. Your characters, your attributes, your control, daring, fitness, insight, presence, and reasons. Your disciplines are command, con, security, engineering, science, medicine, and you got your focuses. You're attempting a task. Your traits, advantages, complications, task difficulty, improving the odds, assistance, threat, momentum, determination, difficulty 0 tasks. Then we've got momentum, threats, determination, perfect opportunities, moment of inspiration, surge of activity, make it so. You got threats, you got encounters, you got conflicts, conflict actions. You got different types of phasers down here. Phaser 1, Phaser 2, and you have Phaser Type 3. Different things you could do during combat. You can assist, you can attack, you can create advantage, direct, guard, pass, ready, recover, sprint, first aid, or other tasks. You also can aim, draw item, drop prone, interact, movement, prepare, and stand. Attacks and damage, moving on. Goes into combat, momentum spends, types of attack that you can do. Bonus damage, disarming, extra minor actions, keeping the initiative, penetration, reroll damage, avoid an injury, secondary target, and swift tasks. Moving on, damage effects. You can have knockdown, piercing, vicious, intense, or area attacks. Qualities. Now, of course, you want to have a starship. We have starship rules, profiles, systems, operating a starship, how to play starship combat, distances and zones, combat tasks, minor actions, making attacks, non-player characters, damage and repairs. Got breaches, repairing damages, warp core breach imminent, impact, damage, disabled, destroyed, what can happen to your ship. So again, over here, you got NPC, starship damage, range, damage effects, area, dampening, persistent X, piercing X, spread, vicious X, qualities, calibration, devastating, high yield, versatile, and then starship combat, momentum spend. So again, a bunch of stuff I got to read up on to make sure I know how to play this game. So I've got different types of difficulty, momentum, threat, determination, talents, creating advantages, obtaining information, creating opportunities, creating problems, and your different momentum spends that you can do as a bonus damage, disarm, extra minor actions, keep the initiative, penetration, reroll damage, avoid an injury, secondary target, and swift target. So it's a bunch of stuff to read about your rules for your Star Trek Adventures. Again, this is first edition. Some of these rules may or may not have been changed for the second edition of this game. Then we roll on to the Star Trek Adventures. You've got your Star Beyond the Stars starter campaign. Now, I don't want to read too much of this because I don't want to give away any clues to any of these campaigns. So again, these are starter missions to get yourself ready to play a full example of the game. So you got your vessels that you're flying in, your introduction, your campaign overview, the Alcubierre, the lost ship, the survivor. Again, I don't want to read too much of this because I do not want to give away anything that happens here. Got John Kelly, Captain John Kelly. Take back the ship. Part 2, we are not ourselves. The Qatar station. Cordolan 4. Machinations revealed. Part 3, the pierced veil. Setbacks and surprises. The ocean world. The lost civilizations. And the conclusion. And different maps that are required to be used during the adventures. So there you have there. So you have your core, you have your basically your introduction starter rules, and you also have your starter campaign for the game. As I was saying, you have your dice. It's a D20 game. So basically, if you need a 40, roll 2 dice, add them together. So 18 plus 4, 19, 20, 21, 22, you have passed. Now, 9, 5. There, you're rolling these. You also have game-specific dice here. You have 4 of these. Blank, 2, 1, and your insignia. So you get 2 of those, 2 blanks, 1 shot, and 2 shots. Again, all these icons are explained to you in the core rulebook in the starter set here. So you got your, again, your D20, you're rolling all your stats on the D20s. 2 of them. Again, those are, you get those. You also get some, appears to get some tokens here as well. Your red alert tokens. Your UFP, United Federation of Planets. Get those as well. Again, this is brought to you by Modiphius Entertainment. different characters that you can use. That's good. I like that. You got pawns. That's very cool. Nice high quality. Nice thick cardboard. Put those right back where you are. Again, you can use those for your different characters that you may come in contact with during your missions. There's your starship you'll be flying, possibly. All right, so you got that. That's pretty cool too. And you got some more here. Looks like you have some Vulcans. Some Vulcan ships. Then you have some Klingons. So it looks like there might be some Klingons coming to town here. Oh, very cool. You also have some maps as well. That's very cool. That's map 2.4, it says. Different parts of the ship. So I see now why you have your tokens. You have map 4.4. Then you also have, looks like map 4.3b. It's like a jungle area. Difficult terrain there. Climbing up and doing all the things you have to do. Okay, very cool. So you get that map as well. Very cool. This is map, so you get this map here as well. That is map 4.3a. You get map 3.4. I guess you could, I don't know if you're supposed to, but you could cut them. I'm assuming down that line right there, but I gotta check the other side, see what's going on there. Then you have, nope, you can't do that. Map 2.3, which again was part of your starship. So you can't cut them, all right. Yeah, so I personally think they should have, if I make a small little critique here, I would have had a separate map just for that there and a separate map just for that. I understand you don't want to waste it aside, but you know, you have that. All right, so you get two maps. You also get some character sheets. So you get, cool, you get your first crew basically, which is always good. So you get pre-made characters. One thing that I haven't seen yet are any player sheets for Star Trek. So I guess they have them all online. One thing I have to say is when you go online, even though I got this secondhand at Powell's Bookstore, the reality is that I'm going to tell you something right now. If you go on the Modiphius website, you get a plethora of different things that they offer you for at no charge whatsoever. So you can find your player character sheets, you can find all that stuff right there online, free of charge. They want you just to jump in and start playing the game. There are so many resources on there that are for free that it's crazy. When I picked up the second edition box set, I never realized how much information they have on their website, which is really, really appreciated as a long-time gamer. Really, really appreciate that. So let's see, you've got some cards here of different players that you can play. Let's see what it says here, Commanding Officer's Reference Sheet there. Okay, but right here we got First Officer, Commander Lenis Linares Los, First Officer. Okay, so it tells you his stats right here, his values, attributes, his disciplines, his focuses, and his talents. All right, and over here you've got his sheet back here, 2-1A, and gives you a bit about information there as well. So that's one character you can play. You can also play the Con Officer, Lieutenant Commander Lian Zhang. They're all set up identically the same way. You could also be Chief of Security, Lieutenant Commander Kuelis Zarath. You could also be the Chief Engineer, Junior Grade, Hanor Dell. you could be the medical officer, Lieutenant T'Prell. Again, gives you all the background information you need to play that character. And on the back side, again, gives you all the stats that you're going to need for conflict reference. For every one of them, it's the same. And it says here, sensors and internal systems reference. So whatever their roles are, it tells you on the back sheet what you're going to have to roll to be successful when you're doing something. So if you're a medical officer and you want to heal someone, you flip this over and it's going to tell you how you're going to do that. Would it be attacks and damage, combat tasks, and combat actions, minor actions, different things you can do. And for Chief Engineer, sensors and internal systems reference. For this is a Chief Security, again, it's going to be security oversight and tactical reference sheet. Con Officer is going to be a helm and navigation reference. First Officer, it's going to give you all the things you need to do about commanding officer reference sheet. So all those sheets are located on the back of your player sheets themselves. So you get a total of 5, and they're going to be flying on their journey using the USS Magellan, player starship. So there's your starship right there, which we have a token for as well. And it tells you everything you're going to need to know about that ship, from attacks to talents to class to commissioned, the systems, departments, shields and powers, resistance, conflict, momentum, spends, and this is all the things you could do during starship operation and of course during combat as well. So there you have it. That's everything that's included in this unboxing of Star Trek Adventures, the role-playing game starter set. So all these things are included in the starter set. But another thing I wanted to show you today as well is the Game Master's screen as well. So I'm going to take this, move this stuff to the side for a minute, so we can just finish this up as well. So I'm going to push this up a little bit, put this here, put the maps, tokens, and the dice. Pull this up just a little bit. So right off the bat, I'm going to show you some of the stuff. First off, you get a really, really nice map. So this is pretty big. So I'm just going to push this to the side for a second so I can lay this out. So it's a constellation, a map of all the different places in the Star Trek universe, which is, I knew there was a lore. There's the Romulan Empire, the neutral zone. You see it all along there. Neutral zone's all along here, as you can see. Got the Romulan Empire down below, the neutral, again, zone down here. You can't go into the Klingon Empire, which is down here. And then you have everything else you could ever imagine right here. And on the flip side of that, you've got, of course, a beautiful picture of the starships leaving, it looks like planet Earth, going out to attack something out there. Not quite sure what, but they're attacking some spaceships out there. So what I'll probably do is lay this out flat and take a photo of it, and I will attach it later so you guys can take a look at what this map really looks like, because it's absolutely, there's so much stuff on it to read. You're never going to be able to see it all on the camera. But at the same time, it's got basically everything you're going to need to possibly play this game, which is really, really cool. So that's the map that's included with the Game Master Shield here. Then, of course, the reference sheets that came along with it. You saw the reference sheets here, so these reference sheets as well. Conflict movement spends, conflict reference sheets, rule summary, communications and internal systems reference, which is cool. Another rules summary sheet, security oversight and tactical reference. Again, more rules summary, sensors and internal systems reference. Then you got another rule summary, 2B. Helm and navigation reference. And 1B, the rules summary. So tasks, buying extra dice, common use of momentum, values. And on the other side here, commanding officer reference, minor actions and everything that the captain could do. So again, you go from 1B, 2B, 3B, 4B, 5B, everything rules summary going all the way up here for all the different things that you need to know. So each side your rule summary sheet, and on the other side it tells you the commanding officer, it tells you the different roles of each player on the thing. And matter of fact, which is great because it actually matches straight up with the backs of all your characters right here. So you get you 2 sets of that. That's awesome. Now again, that photo that we saw before, the artwork on the back of the also is on back of the star map is the same photo that is on the players board, which we have here, which I can show you across because this thing is ginormous also. Which is really, really cool. And when you flip this thing over, at your fingertips, it gives you everything that you would ever need to know. Again, I don't want to crack the board, but there you have everything from difficulty tables, proposed task outcomes, common momentum spends. Okay. Then come down to here. You've got your complication range table, improving the odds, uses for determination. Lots and lots of writing on this chart. I gotta tell you, lots and lots and lots of writing on this chart. Then we also have common conflict minor actions. Then we have this here, your combat momentum spends. And you have your common conflict tasks. Over here you have your making an attack. Injuries suffered from that attack. Then you have your damage. Then you have your damage effects, starship damage, weapons table, NPC special abilities, and NPC starship crew scores. Again, non-player characters, NPCs. So you open this up, as you can tell, it's pretty ginormous. I'm just going to pull this back just a little bit so you can see. This thing is pretty large, as you can tell. So anyway, that is your Game Master screen right there. So this is everything that's included, and this concludes our unboxing for today. Again, what was included here? Again, you have your Game Master screen, which you see going all the way across there. With the Game Master screen, you have that fantastic pull-out poster, which had the game screen's artwork on one side. On the other side is the complete Star Trek map of Galaxy, which is pretty phenomenal. Then it gives you rule summaries for all of the different components and different characters that you can be here, and from starship battles, from being a captain to being engineering to being security to being a doctor to being whatever role you want to play. Also here, we also did an introduction here and showed you an unboxing for the first edition of Star Trek Adventures right here, which we'll also include in here as well. The starter set, which included the starter rules, the starter rules for your, oh, that's not going to stand up, so that we're going to have to do that in a second. Starter rules, this side here is the starter rules on the top there. Then we had a first adventure that you could have there. We had some tokens. We have some dice that are needed for the game as well, which I'm going to pull this down just a little bit so you can see everything I've got here. So again, you got your dice, you got your tokens, you have your first mission, which has several maps that are included with it. You have 5 player characters that you can use for that adventure before rolling up your own character, so you can get a flavor for the game itself. And you have your adventure book, and you have your beginner starter rules for Star Trek Adventures First Edition. So that's everything that's included, and that concludes our unboxing for today. All this information is provided you through Modiphius Modiphius Entertainment. For more information, go to modiphius.com. That's MODIPHIUS.com, or you can go to StarTrek.com. Both were released in 2018. As always, thank you so much for joining us for this unboxing video. It's truly appreciated. If you enjoyed the video, you can always give us a thumbs up and leave a comment below. You could also hit that subscribe button. This way you're kept up to date as to any time we release new content to the page. As always, thank you so much for joining us. Be safe, be well, enjoy the remainder of your day, and we'll catch you on the next unboxing video.